Hey guys, it's Allison. So as you can see from the title, I am gonna do a humongous book haul, and I even got a whole book cart because I could not fit them on my bookshelf anymore. So I have a time lapse of that, of me building that. I am going to show you guys all the books I have been accumulating over the past month or two. So I'm excited to show you guys, and grab a snack, grab a drink, because we are going to be here for a while. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Comment down below any videos you want me to do next. Subscribe down below if you're new to my channel. Turn on post notifications to get an update every time I post a new video. And let's get started. We are going to start with this book, and it's called Falling by TJ Newman. From the synopsis of the book from the back, I was like, I definitely have to get this. This sounds super interesting. I would not know how the ending would be or how the book would go, so I decided to get this one. You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight. So I was like, yes, I have to get this book. So the next book that I picked up was We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lange. I decided to pick this one up because the book cover was so cute and simple, and then it was buy one get one 50% off, so I was like, why not? When 29-year-old Sunday Brennan wakes up in a Los Angeles hospital bruised and battered after a drunk driving accident, she swallows her pride and goes home to her family in New York. But it's not easy. She's deserted them all and her high school sweetheart 5 years before with little explanation, and they've got questions. Sunday is determined to rebuild her life back on the East Coast, even if it does mean tiptoeing around resentful brothers and her ex-fiance. The longer she stays, however, the more she realizes they need her just as much as she needs them. When a dangerous man from her past brings her family's pub business to the brink of financial ruin, the only way to protect the Brennans is to upend all their secrets that have damaged the family for generations and will threaten everything they know about their lives. Aftermath, the Brennans are forced to confront painful mistakes and ultimately find the way forward together. Next one I picked up was The Lost Girls of Willowbrook by Ellen Marie Wiseman. Sage Winters always knew her sister was a little different, even though they were identical twins. They loved the same things and shared a deep understanding, but Rosemary awaked. Every emotion, every mood, to joy or tears, seemed to need more protection from the world. 6 years after Rosemary's death from pneumonia, Sage, now 16, still misses her deeply. Their mother perished in a car crash, and Sage's stepfather, Alan, resents being burdened by a responsibility he never wanted. Despite living as near strangers in their Staten Island apartment, Sage is stunned to discover that Alan has kept a shocking secret. Rosemary didn't die. She was committed to Willowbrook State School and has lingered there until just a few days ago when she went missing. Sage knows little about Willowbrook. It's always been a place shrouded by rumor and mystery, a place local parents trying to send misbehaving kids. With no idea what to expect, Sage secretly sets out for Willowbrook, determined to find Rosemary. What she learns once she steps through its doors and is mistakenly believed to be her sister will change her life in ways she never could have imagined. The next book is Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. She is the author of The Family Upstairs, which I really enjoyed. 3 perspectives, and I found that like really interesting how she wrote that book, and it really kept me captivated because I read it in a day. Why not pick up this book from her and see what this one is all about? Safri, I think that's how you say it, Maddox spent 3 years under the care of a renowned child psychologist, Owen Forbes. When Dr. Forbes decides their sessions should end, she feels abandoned and begins following him around his neighborhood, learning more than she ever wanted about Rowan and his deceptively perfect family life. On a chilly Valentine's night, Safri would disappear, taking any secret she has learned with her, and Owen Pick have been the last person to see her. Forbes have always had a bad feeling about the neighbor Owen. He's a bit creepy, and their teenage daughter swears he follows her home from the train station one night. Could Owen be responsible? What happened to the beautiful Mrs. Safri, and does her disappearance truly connect them all? With most of these books, I don't read the reviews or Goodreads on any of these books. I just get them because I find them interesting. So I want to have my own opinion on it before I know anybody else's opinion, because I feel like when I read somebody else's opinion, like it gets clouded and stuff. Some of the books I have like gotten recommendations from Book Talk or like book YouTubers. Most of them I just like pick up because I find them interesting. The next one is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. It says The Perfect Marriage or The Perfect Lie. Everyone knows a couple like Jack and Grace. He has looks and wealth. She has charm and elegance. He's a dedicated attorney who has never lost a case. She is a flawless homemaker, masterful gardener and cook, and dotes on her disabled younger sister. Though they are still newlyweds, they seem to have it all. You might not want to like them, but you do. You're hopelessly charmed by the ease and comfort of their home, by the graciousness of the dinner parties they throw. Like to get to know Grace better, but it's difficult. Do you realize Jack and Grace are inseparable. Some might call this true love. Others might wonder why Grace never answers the phone, or why could never meet for coffee even though she doesn't work. How can she cook such elaborate meals but remain so slim? Or why she never seems to take anything with her when she leaves the house, not even a pen. Or why there are such high security metal shutters on all the downstairs windows. Some might wonder what's really going on once the dinner party is over and the front door has closed. This cover is kind of creepy, but we're gonna get past it. So going into romance, we got Dating You, Hating You by Christina Loring. I haven't seen any of the YouTubers or TikTok people talk about this book, so I found it interesting to pick up since I haven't seen really any reviews on it. Everyone knows that all's fair in love and war, but these two will learn that sabotage is a dish best served naked. Despite the odds stacked against them after an embarrassing meet awkward at a mutual friend's Halloween party, Carter and Evie immediately hit it off. Even the realization that they're both high-powered agents at competing firms in Hollywood isn't enough to squash the fire. But when the two agencies merge, causing the pair to vie for the same position, all bets are off. What could have been a beautiful blossoming romance turns into an all-out war of sabotage. Carter and Evie are both 30-something professionals, so why can't they act like it? Whether these two love-hate birds get the storybook Hollywood ending or just an oddity of epic proportions, you get to enjoy Christina Loring's heartfelt, hilarious story of romance in the modern world. I know she has the Unhoneymooners and also Love in Other Words, and I haven't picked up those, so if I end up enjoying this one, I'll end up picking the other two up. But I just decided to pick up a book that nobody really talks about before I pick up more popular ones. The next book that I haven't really seen people talk about is Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey, and I know she has all these other good books that she has written, but I have not picked up any of those either, and I decided to pick up one that nobody talks about. Like I said, Rosie and Dominic Vega are the perfect couple, high school sweethearts, best friends, madly in love. Well, they used to be anyway. Now Rosie's lucky to get a caveman grunt from the ex-soldier every time she walks in the door. Dom is faithful and a great provider, but the man she fell in love with 10 years ago is nowhere to be found. When Rosie's girlfriends encourage her to demand more out of life and pursue her dream of opening a restaurant, she decides to demand more out of love too. 3 words: marriage boot camp. Never in a million years did Rosie believe her stoic, too manly to emote husband would actually agree to relationship rehab, the weed smoking hippie. Dom talking about feelings, sitting on pillows, communing with nature, learning love languages. Nope. To Rosie's surprise, he's all in, and it forces her to admit her own role in their cracked foundation. As the two complete one ridiculous yet surprisingly helpful assignment after another, the remodeled relationship gets stronger than ever. Except just as they're getting back on track, Rosie discovers Dom has a secret. It could demolish everything. Really love this cover as well. I'm really a sucker for covers, and I'm really not that picky on books either. This is gonna be an interesting book, I feel like. The next book that I picked up, which is a biggie that I did not know would be really huge, is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I know she's a really good writer. Everybody has been talking about her, so I was like, let me get this book to introduce this author to me, to see if I like her, to see if I like her writing. Losing people you love is hard. Aurora de la Torre knows moving back to a place that was once home isn't going to be easy. Starting your whole life over probably isn't supposed to be. A small town in the mountains might be the perfect remedy for a broken heart. Checking out her landlord across the driveway just might cure it too. Next book that I decided to pick up was kind of like a impulsive buy, I guess you could say, because I don't know author or haven't heard a lot of people talk about this book. Are Secrets and Scars by Macy Myers, and I really love this cover because it's purple. My favorite color is purple. I guess the basis of this book is about this guy that he's in prison, and he signs up for being like a pen pal with someone outside world, and this girl starts speaking to him, and they start writing letters back and forth to each other, and I guess they fall in love, and then he ends up getting out, and then I don't know what happens after that. I actually like picked it up because look at how cute, not cute, but like it's like their own writing. I don't know if you could see that. Like, it's just in their writing. So it's like, I found this so cool, and I think that's what got me into getting this book and into crime and all that stuff. So I always find it interesting when someone falls in love with someone in prison, because I'm like, how did that came to be? And it'll be a really short and sweet kind of book, so can't wait to read this. So the next one is a series. Could be a standalone book, but I decided to get the Never After series. I think that's what it's called. I picked up Hooked and Wretched. Wanted to get the book Scarred, but they were sold out on Amazon, so I'm just gonna have to wait. This is about Captain Hook, his story, about his life. It says, once upon a time, there was a little boy, his belly full of laughter, his life full of joy, until one day something changed, stripped his innocence away. Hole inside, making space for the devil to come and play. His dreams gone forever. He grew up way too fast. An endless night of crocodiles and watches made of glass. He grew up into a villain, the taste of vengeance on his tongue, craving to make his enemies pay for the misdeeds they had done. Instead, he found a darling girl and refused to let her go, for what better way to make the man pay than to steal his little shadow. Art is about Scar from the Lion King, I believe. This one is like Wizard of Oz themed. Once upon a time, there's a wicked girl. She lost everything that mattered, causing darkness to unfurl. Impulsive and intelligent, she helped her family name grow strong. And one day, a man without a heart came along. An undercover agent meant to spy and bring back tips, following down her hidden path of faded yellow bricks. He hated him, he wanted her. She was too good to be true. A woman can be great and terrible too. I think they're coming out. Emily McIntyre, that's her name, is coming out with a 4th one. So can't wait to read this series. So I picked up these 3 books and they're all in my 24-hour reading challenge, so I'll link it up below. And I have 2 other books that I need to show you that I did during my 24-hour reading challenge. This one is in 5 Years by Rebecca Serle. This is about a girl who just got proposed to, and then she falls asleep, and then she wakes up 5 years from the same day, and she wakes up in a whole different apartment with a whole different guy, a whole different everything, and then she wakes up again and she's back in like a current timeline she's in. And she's like, is that real? Is that gonna happen in the future? So she tries hard not to have that happen. Interesting how they intertwine like the people in the book. It was like a decent read. It was a very easy read. The book that I have is the Chishi by Sarah Adams. I really like this book. This was a very lighthearted book to read. Really enjoyed it. This was about a girl who was a professional ballerina, but then she ended up getting into the accident. She ended up opening her own studio and becoming like a teacher. And she's like best friends with an NFL star that she's been best friends with since like, high school, I believe. She's been in love with him forever, and she hasn't told him anything because she doesn't want to ruin their friendship. Low-key, he likes her too. At one point, she admits to TMZ that she's in love with him. His PR team decided to take advantage of that and bring them together and them have a fake relationship. Then obviously they both like each other. This book, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I want to pick up another one of her books, which is called His and Hers. You know the person you married, think again. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and on anniversaries they will never forget. Before my camera really interrupted me, they go on like little trip to Scotland up in the mountains to like some abandoned church, and they try to reconcile their marriage, and stuff happens, and it goes between like the current moment and like letters she has written to her husband about every year of their marriage, because this guy, he has face blindness, so he can't even recognize her. It's just weird for her. The ending, let me tell you, Alice Feeney did it because it had a shocking twist and I did not expect that to happen. And I'm like, I definitely have to read this book again because I was like lost for words. Another book that I got was A Flicker in the Dark. That was during my 24-hour reading challenge as well. And this was about a girl who was 12 and 6 teenage girls went missing in her town. And then her own father confessed to these murders. And after 20 years, she has become a psychologist. And the murders start happening again. So she's just like, what the heck is happening? And my father's in jail. Why is this happening again? This is one of my favorite thriller and suspense books. Kept me hooked. I love how it was written. This is by Stacey Willingham. I don't know if she has any other books, but if she does, I'll definitely pick up more of hers because her writing was just amazing. I also picked up Charity, this hardcover, and the one that has the exclusive new chapter in it. Let me tell you, after that exclusive new chapter, after I read it, I was more confused than ever once again. It was a pretty good new chapter, let me say. I read Verity like a while back. I have both this one and the regular book. And I love how she just plastered her face on the back of the cover. I picked up this book, which is called Crying in H-Mart by Michelle Zauner. And it's a memoir. I haven't read a memoir, so I decided to pick it up. I would have never picked this up, but my brother actually noticed this in the bookstore. And then I was like, oh. And then I read it and then it sounded interesting. So let's go into Miss Colleen Hoover because she made me get all these books. I got It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. Did reading vlogs on these two. This one was part of my 24-hour reading challenge, and this one was a separate reading vlog on the whole book. Reminders of him. I did not notice that real life this book is like shiny. When I saw this, I was like, what? And there was a whole bunch of new books of this, and I was like, this looks so satisfying, and I love how colorful it looks. A young mother fights to earn a place in her child's life, but is there room for her? After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter, but the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out no matter how hard she works to prove herself. The only person who hasn't closed the door on her completely is Ledger Ward, a local bar owner and one of the few remaining links to Kenna's daughter. But if anyone were to discover how Ledger is slowly becoming an important part of Kenna's life, both would risk losing the trust of everyone important to them. The two form a connection despite the pressure surrounding them, but as their romance grows, so does the risk. Kenna must find a way to absolve the mistakes of her past in order to build a future out of hope and healing. Without merit. Not every mistake deserves a consequence. Sometimes the only thing it deserves is forgiveness. The Voss family is anything but normal. From the irritatingly perfect older siblings to the little half-brother who isn't allowed to do or eat anything fun. Then there's Merit. She collects trophies she hasn't earned and secrets her family forces her to keep. While browsing the local antique shop for another trophy, she meets Sagan. He's witty and idealistic and sparks renewed life into her, until she learns that he's completely unavailable. Merit retreats deeper into herself, watching her family from the sidelines. When she learns the secret no trophy in the world can fix. Fed up with the lies, Merit decides to shatter the happy family illusion that she's never been a part of, leaving them behind for good. But when her escape plan fails, Merit is forced to deal the staggering consequences of telling the truth and losing the one boy she loves. This one, which is Maybe Someday, did not like the last cover it had, so when I saw this cover, the guitar and the music sheets, I was like, perfect. I do not like people on the cover, real people. I don't know if you guys are like me, but it's just turn off to like buying a book. I forgot that it was a series, so now I have to buy 2 other books at some point. My 2-year-old Sydney is enjoying a great life. She's in college, working a steady job, in love with her wonderful boyfriend Hunter, and rooming with her best friend Tori. But everything changes when she discovers that Hunter is cheating on her, but she is forced to decide what her next move should be. Soon Sydney finds herself captivated by her mysterious and attractive neighbor Ridge. She can't take her eyes off him or stop listening to the passionate way he plays his guitar every evening out on his balcony, and there's something about Sydney that Ridge can't ignore either. They soon find themselves needing each other in more ways than one. An angsty tale, friendship, betrayal, and romance. Maybe Someday will immerse readers in Sydney's tumultuous world from the very first page. Next few books is from one of my favorite authors. It is Taylor Jenkins Reid. I picked up One True Loves, which I read already. One of my favorite books. She really captivates you from the first page as well, and this book was pretty interesting. I did not know how this ending was gonna be, but it happened, and this was part of my 24-hour reading challenge. This was about a girl who was married, this guy, and they were together for like 10 years. He ends up going to Alaska, and then he goes missing, and then supposedly he's dead, so she ends up moving on and dating someone else, and she is about to get married to a new guy. When he ends up coming back, she has to decide whether she wants to go back with her husband or marry the new guy, and just a whirlwind of emotions in this book. So this one is about this couple. They need to fix their marriage. They're like already married, and then they have to try to find a way to fall in love again, so they take like a year apart. Let me tell you, I have not picked up the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo yet, and I just picked up every other book. Forever Interrupted, where this girl, she falls in love with a guy like really quickly. They get engaged, they elope, then like 9 days after like all of this happens, a guy gets hit by a truck and he dies, and then she kind of like never met his parents. Weaving Elsie and Ben's charmed romance with Elsie and Susan's healing process. Forever Interrupted will remind you that there's more than one way to find a happy ending. So now we are going to get into more of the series that I have picked up. The first series that I am currently reading, the Twisted series, and let me tell you, these books are really spicy. So if you don't like spicy, I would not recommend them because they're really intense, especially this first one, in my opinion, Twisted Love. I had it at a 4.5 rating, but now I had put it down to a 4 because 4.5 for Twisted Games. Twisted Games so far is my favorite book out of the Twisted series. I am on Twisted Hate right now, and then I got Twisted Lies. The first book, Twisted Love, is about this girl named Ava. She's like attracted to her best friend's brother, and her best friend's brother ends up taking care of her, not taking care of her, but like watching her while the brother is away. They end up like in this relationship that's like really dark and like twisted, like this book is. The ending, I did not expect the ending. The ending should have gone a different way, I believe. Should have been like much more of a simpler ending. Usually I don't really say that, but this book was intense as it was, and how the ending happened, I was just like, Twisted Games is about her friend Bridget, which Bridget is a princess. She falls in love with her bodyguard, enemies to lover kind of relationship. This one is Twisted Hate. This is about her friend Jules becoming a lawyer, and Jules is very like, she dates any guys that come her way kind of thing, but now she's much more subtle because she is becoming a lawyer and she's like getting into like her professions. She's not as crazy as she used to be, and then she ends up falling in love with Josh, which Josh is Ava, which from the first book's brother. So this is Twisted Hate because they have like a hate relationship, like they are always attacking each other for like stupid reasons and stuff like that. So then they end up falling in love. This one is Twisted Lies, and this is about Christian Harper, which is the boss of the bodyguard in Twisted Games. It's about Stella, which is another one of Ava's friends. She's an influencer. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Twisted Lies. I feel like I'm gonna be so upset during Twisted Lies. That's the biggest book of them all, so I don't know if I'm gonna be upset during this whole thing, because if it's gonna go by the title, they're gonna be lying to each other. I hope they don't lie to each other, that they're lying to something else, because... And then, since she came out with this book just recently, I had to pick up King of Wrath. Love the cover, amazing. This is book 1 of the Kings of Sin. I think the second book is gonna come out soon. I really know when. She's the wife he never wanted and the weakness he never saw coming. And then it says, ruthless, meticulous, arrogant, Dante Russo thrives on control both personally and professionally. The billionaire CEO never planned to marry until the threat of blackmail forces him into engagement with a woman he barely knows. Vivian Lau, jewelry heiress and daughter of his newest enemy. It doesn't matter how beautiful or charming she is, he'll do everything in his power to destroy the evidence and their betrothal. There's only one problem. Now that he has her, he can't bring himself to let her go. It says, elegant, ambitious, well-mannered, Vivian Lau is the perfect daughter and her family's ticket into the highest echelons of high society. Marrying a blue-blooded Russo means opening doors that would otherwise remain closed to her new money family. While the rude, elusive Dante isn't her idea of dream partner, she agrees to the arranged marriage out of duty. Craving his touch was never a part of the plan. There was the worst thing she could possibly do, fall in love with her future husband. I love the spine of this book as well. Then the other series that I picked up was the Dirty Heirs series by Lauren Asher. I love these spines as well. The covers are amazing and aesthetically pleasing to look at. Like, Lauren Asher has done it. If I end up liking this series, I'll probably end up picking up like Terms and Conditions and like her other books. I think the whole book series is about F1 racing. The people are in F1 racing and I'm into F1 racing right now, so I had to pick these up. It says, Maya, Noah Slade is a Formula 1 legend in the making, focused, unapproachable, ruthless, on and off the track. A man with walls higher than the Grand Canyon and my brother's new teammate. I want more of the prince who disguises himself as the villain, but while I crave a happy ending, he wants to destroy his. Noah. Maya Alatorre, the forbidden temptation. An ambitious post-grad I should stay away, far away from. Chaos wrapped with the bow. We're a ticking time bomb, about one wrong move away from exploding. I want to trip the wire, detonating together in passion and pain, because in the end, it's all fair in lust and war. Slide, it says, Sophie. Liam is a Formula 1's golden boy, but he's nothing but a fraud. Charming, devious, seductive, and someone who promises to fulfill all my naughty bucket list items. I force him behind the safe lines of the friend zone. Instead of accepting our friendship, he spikes the deal. One season, one list, one dirty secret. Liam. Sophie is my greatest fantasy brought to life and a major threat to my contract renewal. She's a part of the rival team and someone I could resist at all costs. Everyone is against our friendship. My boss, her dad, me. Yeah, I'm captivated by her and the naughty list she created. Screw platonic. I want catastrophic. I love that last one. Got Wrecked, which is the third one. It says, Elena, I beg the universe to save me from my financial disaster. Answer my call with a Formula 1 team desperate for a PR miracle. One season, one job, one Brody British racer. Except that Jax turns our hotel room into a battleground. To beat the enemy, I need to find his weakness. What I learned threatens to ruin everything. Him, me, us. Love is a war zone and neither one of us plans to surrender. Jax. Kills alcohol, adrenaline. I'm addicted to destructive decisions that numb my pain until one night when I make a catastrophic mistake to repair my broken reputation, my my team hires Elena. Overpaid babysitter sat on ruining my plans. Use my domination disguised as my salvation and my newest addiction. And this one is redeemed and it says, Chloe. It all started with a birthday wish, some vodka, and an ancestry kit. That's how I ended up in Italy, finding my long lost father. But one decision lands me a fake boyfriend I don't want. The more we pretend, the easier our ruse becomes. I told myself not to fall in love with a liar like Santiago. I should have listened. Santiago. One mistake destroys my career. I go from most eligible bachelor to monster, hiding from the world, at least until Chloe breaks into my home. My new fake girlfriend is a temporary fix to the biggest problem. As our game changes, so do my feelings. There's only one issue stopping me from claiming her. Me. So I decided to pick this book up, and it's called Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. And this is part of a series. This is part of like a, I think it's a 5-book series. I only picked up the first one, and it says Power is a Dangerous Game. It up because I actually wanted this book for a while, but then I was like, I don't know about, this is kind of fantasy in a way, so I haven't read fantasy, so I don't know how I would like it. So that's why I only got the first book. And also this one was I won't get 150% off, so I was like, might as well get the first one. I just love the cover. That's what like fascinated me about this book. And at the back it says, Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly reds destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own she didn't know she had. The silver king is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Soon Mare is drawn into the silver world. Loyalty and desire can tear you apart, and the only certainty is betrayal. Before long, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. There's 4 more other books, so it's Glass Sword, King's Cage, War Storm, and Broken Throne. Like, you can't tell me those books are not satisfying to look at. Oh, I decided to pick up this one, and if I enjoy this one, I'll end up picking up the other one. This is part of the 50% off as well. Another fantasy book that I don't know I'm going to like. A lot of people talk about this book, so I'm like really excited to read it because I feel like a lot of people talk about it, say it's good, maybe it will be good. So this is The Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. The duology, so the other one is Vow of Thieves. Oh my gosh, these words are so small. And it says, a stunning new adventure set in the kingdoms of the Remnant. Formidable outlaw family that claims to be the first among nations, a son destined to lead, thrust suddenly into power. 3 fierce young women of the Ratan, the queen's premier guard. Legendary street thief leading a mission determined to prove herself. Dark secret that is a threat to the entire continent. When outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat and mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. And next I got The Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. A lot of people have raved about this book, and this is a pretty thick book as well. The cover, amazing. A lot of people talked about it, and then I never knew what it was really about until I actually picked it up because I read the back of it, and it says Knox Morgan doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a stranded runaway bride. Naomi Witt is on the run, not just from her fiance and a church full of well-wishers for her entire life. Although if you ask her, Naomi's riding to the rescue of her estranged hot mess of a twin, Tina, knock him out, a rough around the edges town where disputes are settled the old-fashioned way with fist and beer, usually in that order. But for Naomi, her evil twin hasn't changed at all. They're helping herself to Naomi's car and cash. Tina leaves behind something unexpected, the niece Naomi didn't know she had. Now she's a guardian to an 11-year-old going on 30 with no car, no money, and no plan. There's a reason the dispirited bad boy Barber doesn't get involved with the high-maintenance woman, especially not type A romantic ones. But since Naomi's life imploded right in front of him, the least Knox can do is help her out of the jam. Just as soon as she stops getting into new trouble, he can leave her alone and get back to his quiet, solitary life. At least that's the plan. So I decided to pick up another series. I can't wait to read this one. Like, as soon as I heard about this book and the synopsis of this book, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna get these. Heirs Games trilogy. I had to get all of them in hardcover, and I forgot to say, like, hardcovers are not really my thing, but I had to get all of them in hardcover because the first 2 are, they have it in softcover, but since the Final Gambit just came out recently, they don't have it in softcover yet, so I just decided to get all of them in hardcover, evenly put in my bookshelf. This is about a girl who inherits all this money from this billionaire, and she doesn't know why she's inheriting all this money. Look how they look. Those are nice, right? I also got like random books as well. I got Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, because she is the queen of mystery and I love mystery. So I was like, let me pick up one of her books. But I don't know why I didn't just pick up The Mysterious Affair at Styles. I just picked up this one because this one seemed interesting. This is about a murder that happened on the train, and then like everybody's stuck on the train now because they're trying to figure out who did it, what happened. And yeah, this is a pretty quick read and I haven't read it yet. I don't know why. This one was his Jojo Moyes, The Last Letter from Your Lover. It came out with a Netflix movie, so I decided to pick up the book. She is also the one that did Me Before You. I started to read it and then I stopped reading it. I think it's because of how it's written, because this was written like about 10 years ago, so like it's not separated the way these books are separated. Like we're like, oh, one chapter is for the past, one chapter is for the present, one chapter is for this person, one chapter is for that person. So it gets pretty confusing because it's all mixed in one chapter. I did watch the movie. I love the movie. Then I got The Perfect Escape by Leah Golden, and I got this a while back that I didn't show in my other haul, and it says A Girl's Weekend to Die For. I picked up this book, Normal People by Sally Rooney. 20 million months ago, a lot of people were talking about this, so I decided to pick this up. I also picked up classic novels. I picked up Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Stories. I have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So these have really tiny words. And then I have my favorite, The Great Gatsby. It has pictures in it, guys. Like, let me show you. You can't tell me that's not beautiful. Like, come on. Whoever drew these pictures is amazing. And The Great Gatsby is like one of my favorite books. Like ever since I was like, I don't know when I read it, like in middle school or high school, I'm just like, this is my favorite book of all time. Like all the books that I have read during school, that was my favorite book. And then I love the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, so I had to get this book. Even though I have the original version of the book, I wanted to get this one with the pictures because I thought it was really cute. And the last two books in this haul, which I don't even know how long this book haul is gonna be, but I hope you're still here. I much appreciate it if you are still here. If you are still here, comment down below if you read any of these books, what's your favorite book, and all that. The last two books are Gentle and Lowly by Dane Ortland, and this is a Heart of Christ for Sinners and Sufferers. And then Outdated by Jonathan J.P. Pokluda. I love that last When Dating Has Changed. Oh my gosh, these two covers are amazing. These two books are basically about God's purpose and getting closer to Christ. I'm almost done reading my Bible, so after I read my Bible, I'm going to be reading these books and, you know, analyzing and just doing notes of all the stuff I have read and connecting it to these books so that I got my book haul. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.